what's your gut reaction when I say challenge? Do you shy away from it? Does your stomach get constricted? Or do you open up and do you get that feeling of expansion? Today, I want to share with you 7 ways to look at challenge in a more positive way so that you can live your life more fulfilled. So don't go anywhere. The first way that I think challenge is can be a positive thing is because challenges help us to grow and to learn. If we're not put in those stressful situations where we have to learn, we have to adapt, we have to grow, we would probably stay the same that we always are, and we wouldn't experience that expansion of ourselves. And as humans, we actually thrive on challenges. It makes us feel alive. It makes us feel like, we have goals that we can go after. But that only happens when we look at it from a positive perspective. When we look at it from a negative perspective, it's a whole different ballgame. But today, I just want to stay in the positive. Another reason why challenges can be positive is because they force us to innovate. They force us to come up with new ideas. Things get stale over time. Without challenge, there is no need for innovation. So it's important when we want to keep things moving, we want to keep things fresh, we want to keep things interesting. That's where challenge comes in, because it makes our life, honestly, much more interesting, and it forces us to look at things in a different way, and that brings the best out of us. A third way in challenge being or leading to fulfillment is that it makes us stronger and more resilient. Whatever challenge comes on our plate today helps us to be better for the challenge that comes tomorrow. And that challenge helps us to be better for whatever the next thing is coming. So growth is a step-by-step process. We can't expect to go from A to Z and not go through the rest of the letters of the alphabet. Every single challenge that we face is a way for us to expand, it's a way for us to grow, and it's a way for us to improve and be a different or a better version of the person that we were before. So that strength and that resilience that we get um, from having faced those challenges is what makes us the humans that we are, and the person that grew into. Challenges also help us to achieve our goals. If, for example, you have to learn a new skill, right? Because you're trying to get from, let's say, you're moving from corporate into entrepreneurship. The skills that you had in corporate, some of them will transfer over to entrepreneurship, but there are new things you're going to have to learn as an entrepreneur, such as doing your own marketing, figuring out your niche, right? Your niche audience, figuring out all of those things that are going to help you to be a better business person, and that are going to help you to talk to the right people about whatever your business is, whatever your mission is, now that you've stepped into that entrepreneurial role. Number 5, challenge helps us to find our mission and find our purpose. Sometimes we get stuck in our comfort zone, and it's difficult to figure out and to see what our purpose is. When you're in on that hamster wheel and you're doing the same thing day in, day out, day in, day out, first of all, it gets boring as heck, but it also keeps you trapped in whatever that little safe zone is that you've built for yourself. When we face challenges, we figure out what it is that we're really made of and what we're capable of. Without those challenges, it's likely that we would stay in that comfort. Challenges also help us to be more successful. And we know success isn't a straight line. There are ups and downs, there are peaks and valleys, but at every turn, again, we learn, right? And we can get a lot of significance from being able to overcome those challenges and to keep moving forward. And oftentimes, success is not an easy road, right? The people that are successful are the people that have dared to risk, that have dared to live their best life. And that has propelled them into success because it's forced them to become a better human, to become a better version of themselves. And lastly, challenges help us to appreciate life more. When everything is running smoothly, if if the sun is always shining and it's always 70 degrees, after a while that kind of gets boring. The reason why we appreciate the sun so much, the reason why we appreciate when it's warm, is because we know what it's like when it's raining. We know what it's like when it's really cold. And unless you're, kind of a nerd like me and you love winter, chances are when it's cold, you kind of tend to retreat. But that also makes you appreciate the times when the sun is shining and when it's warm that much more. So when we face those challenges, we appreciate what life has to bring much more than if everything was always the same temperature, if the sun was always shining, or if we didn't have those moments where life gets a little bit difficult or things get a little bit challenging. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you found it of service. I'd love to hear if what else or how else could you look at challenge in a positive way. Feel free to share that in the comments, and you know subscribe. I'll put the link to the blog as well in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next week. Take care.